If anyone knows where I put my shirt, tie, suit, any of that smart stuff after the last cup final we were in, let me know. It's nowhere. We're going to do this either in a t-shirt or naked. Suit is not an option. Is naked an option? Hello and welcome to part 191 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode we have the FA Cup final against Blackburn. We're doing the Champions League final tomorrow. I've got to make it last until the end of the week. End of the series, isn't it? Since you're last with me, we just had the one disappointing Premier League game. We played our first team in that game as well against Stoke, trying to get some form in place ready for these two games. And we were just rubbish. We were 2-0 up and then it got rubbish after I made a triple substitution. So we drew 2-2. Final season in the Premier League. We finished third. We don't really care because we won it 2 years in a row and it wasn't what this season was about. What this season was about was a clean sweep in the cups. Did we win the Community Shield? Hold on. No, we didn't. Forget that one. It's not a cup, it's a shield. We've already won the Carabao Cup, and now we've got the FA Cup final and the Champions League final to play for, and obviously play for them both. We shall. I've already started making some preparations for life after Kev as well. As you can see, we've got our transfer budget through, we've got our wage budget through, and I'm using it to right a wrong. He's coming home, boys and girls. Dejan Joksimovic, we've had a £14 million offer accepted for him. He's been away for far too long. We never replaced him because we always knew he was coming home. So when we do our 10 years in the future video, at least we know Joksimovic will be part of it. Only 28 games in 2 years at Bayern Munich after his £26 million move. It's fair to say that move didn't turn out the way he would have hoped. He's still being kept out of the Serbian team by Sretenovic. But Joksimovic is coming home. Obviously, we won't see him play again. But I think of all the I had a look through our transfer history. All the players who've moved on in recent years, there's only one that was out of my control. All of it. I mean, even Vujicic. We're going to meet him again in the Paris Saint-Germain game tomorrow. But even Vujicic, I'd already replaced him. Harry's was our first choice keeper when we let Vujicic go. But Joksimovic was the one who I really didn't want to have to sell, but ended up having to sell. So he's the one who needs to come home as part of Kev's goodbye tour. But let's not worry about that. There's going to be room for sentimentality and nostalgia in a couple of videos I've got planned for early next week, just to bridge that gap between the end of this series and the start of the FM18 series is when they start and when the beta arrives. But we've got to win the FA Cup first. Well, we don't have to. We've got to win the Champions League. I'm going to look an idiot. So this is the team that we're putting out there at Wembley. Our final game in England in FM18 to try and win the FA Cup. We are going with a 4-3-3 again. Who's still not fully fit. He's only passed a fitness test for 75 minutes of the match. He didn't feature at all against Stoke. I didn't even have him on the bench. I don't want to break him before the Champions League final, so we're going to go with the 4-3-3. We are definitely doing a 4-3-1-2 against Paris Saint-Germain. Who will start that game, as long as he's fit, which he should be. But he's going to sit there on the bench in case we need him to come on today as well. So we've got Harry's in goal. A back four, Sretenovic, Ripert, Taraka and Coupler. With Barbas, Caminero and Tate in midfield. And then a front three of Ganley, Jones and Piazza. Which, if whoever takes over from me manages to keep that front three together, I think Jones is the oldest at 25. They've got at least a good 5 or 6 years of European domination with that front three. And Piazza and Ganley have got another 10, 12, maybe 15 years left in them for Ganley. The future is bright for Nuneaton. Yes, we didn't want to risk Seren Oknuhu in an FA Cup final. We've got a Champions League final to risk him in. Even if he's not fit, he's playing in that game. I can't think of a scenario where we play a Champions League final without Nuhu in the team. It seems utterly unthinkable. It's bad enough that I can't find my suit. And I'm serious, I can't find my suit. I've looked in my wardrobe, it's not there. I've looked in my wash bag, and it's not just the suit, my Nuneaton tie and the one white shirt I kept after I left work. What happened there? Harry's has got his blunder out of the way early, I hope. But yeah, when I left work, I threw away all my shirts and ties. It was symbolic. I threw away all my shirts and ties apart from one shirt that I kept specifically for cup finals. I kept one suit specifically for cup finals. Everything else is gone. And but the suit, the shirt, and the Nuneaton Club tie are nowhere to be seen. They're not in my wardrobe. They're not in my wash basket. They're not out here. I thought I might have just stripped it all off out here after a video. I don't know where they could possibly have gone. Have you seen me wear a suit? Those of you who watch the vlog, and these videos obviously, think back over the last 6 weeks or so. When was the last time I wore a suit and where was I? Oh my word. There's your Ripert moment. Harry's and Ripert have both had absolute nightmares to kick off this FA Cup final. And I just hope they're getting this nonsense out of their system today, because tomorrow we've got the big one, and we can't imagine if we started the Champions League final like this, gifting the opposition 2 goals before we've even really had an attack. This is ridiculous. Nuhu's sat there going, well, there's only 75 minutes left, boss. Shall I just come on now? But we've got a penalty. We're trying to work our way back into the game. Piazza wins a penalty. It's Ganley to take. Can he get us a goal back before the 20-minute mark? Ganley's penalty is saved. I feel like it might not be our day. I hope this is the game forward planning, and it doesn't want us to do a clean sweep of the cups, and it's decided, Kev, you can have the Carabao Cup. You're gonna get the Champions League next week. It's silly to have you win all 3 of them, though. Let's offer a little bit of balance. And no matter what I did today, the game was always going to beat me in the... I know. I'm pretty sure this isn't how Football Manager works. But my word, we all play it. We all feel this from time to time. We should be beating Blackburn. You saw what we did against Manchester United yesterday. We should be beating Blackburn. But sometimes you just start a game. There's Jones back in. There's a goal back. But sometimes you just feel like the game is, I don't want to say scripted, but it does just feel sometimes like there is nothing you can do. It's completely out of your control. And that might just be because of my tactical incompetence. You're probably sat there going, Kev, there's something I could have done in this situation. You're just an idiot. And that might be it. But I just don't see why we have 2 key players who, okay, they are a little bit accident prone, but why do they both have a blunder in the first 15 minutes of an FA Cup final? It doesn't seem reasonable. But like I say, I hope they've both got it out of their system now, and they'll be all good for the Champions League final tomorrow, because I don't think Paris Saint-Germain are going to let us have a route back into the game like Blackburn are attempting to do, giving away a penalty, letting us have all of the attacking play pretty much since their second goal, and hopefully we get the equaliser just before half-time here. It's Ganley who's in and straight at the keeper, but another good chance. We're 3-1 up on clear-cut chances, 2-1 down on actual goals. Although, there you go, right on the stroke of half-time, Caminero makes it 2-2, and we've deserved that. Looking at all of those stats, we do not deserve to be down at half-time, and hopefully this is going to be the big character-building exercise that we needed going into that Champions League final. I know we've had some fantastic moments, particularly against Manchester United recently, but I don't know, the league form has been awful, and certainly giving away a 2-goal lead against Stoke could have left us feeling a little bit low. And I think we needed a blood pumping, fist thumping moment, and hopefully that's what's coming in this game. Ganley's been awful today, though. He's missed a penalty, missed a good chance, and I think this is the moment for Nuhu to come on in the FA Cup final, and hopefully we don't break him. I mean, he's good for 75 minutes. He's only got to play half an hour and maybe another half hour of extra time if it gets to that. But, I've left him on support. We can't have Nuhu on support. What's the point of that? The whole point of Nuhu is to get in goal-scoring opportunities. Apparently, he's better doing it at support. I guess we'll never know, because I've never once played him as the support. Actually, that's not true. When we had that spell where we were doing more than one attacking midfielder, I always used to put Nuhu as the support one, because he's supposedly perfect at it. Oh, my word. So we make the comeback and then let Blackburn have another goal. This is Blackburn. We're playing Paris Saint-Germain in the next episode. And we've just struggled against Stoke, and now we're struggling against Blackburn. I mean, does anyone else feel like this is a team that's unlikely to win the Champions League? Let's remember what happened against Manchester United. Let's remember Barbas. And talking of Barbas, he's coming off. Rubbish. Just rubbish. They're all rubbish today. No one and I hope it's just that no one really cares. We've won the FA Cup before. It's no big deal. It's just the FA Cup. Everyone's focused on next week. And I hope that's all it is. They're not that bothered about this. Because if that's what it is, as frustrating as it can be, I can get on board with it. Piazza makes it 3-3 though. Lovely little through ball from Nuhu. And the super friends, Nuhu and Piazza, combine again. Oh, if only they were closer together in age. Imagine if we had a 4 or 5 season spell of those two in their prime playing together. It would be one of the great partnerships in the history of world football. But Piazza's going to fully establish himself at just about the time Nuhu... I mean, this realistically... Nuhu is now a 2.5 star player. I think whoever takes over from me, A, they're unlikely to use an attacking midfielder, and you don't put Nuhu anywhere else in the team. And B, he's clearly by star rating, he is comfortably the worst player in the squad now. I think Nuhu's days are numbered after I move on, and it's very sad. We're going to take Piazza off and bring Alonso on for the last 10 minutes, hoping that he does an Alonso and just grabs us a late winner, because we all know the man's a finisher. I think if it goes to extra time, we get a 4th sub, don't we? So Rosic is sat there ready to come on, and he will be coming on for Tate, because Tate's another one who's recovering from injury. I don't mind him doing a full 90 minutes. I don't want Tate going into extra time as well, because he's going to be very important for us next week. This is the last thing we needed, really. Extra time in the FA Cup final, but... Yay. Right, Rosic on for Tate. Splendid. Should we swap those two over? Just shuffle the midfield around it. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. Why not? What's the worst that could happen? So, extra time. My word. What? I can hear 2 cups clinking together on my desk, and I don't know which 2 they are. Yes, that's how many cups I have on my desk. I can't identify which 2 are making the noise. Because there's about 10 out here. We're reaching that point. That might be where my suit is. Perhaps my suit is under all these cups. Alonso into Jones, and Charlie Jones has just had a wild swing at that and missed by a gazillion miles. Look at the state of these stats, by the way. In what universe do those stats indicate a 3-3 draw? We have absolutely taken Blackburn apart on every single stat, but we're not winning the game. We've not been ahead at any point in the game. I don't understand. Obviously, I guess take into account the 2 total defensive blunders, which would make it 3-1, which is a lot more reasonable if you take the 2 blunders out. But still, those stats read like a 6-0. We've had 5 clear-cut chances to their 1. 4 half chances to their 1. 29 shots to their 6. And there he is again. Mr. Big Game Player, Sir Enoch Nuhu, makes it 4-3 in extra time. Has there ever been a big game that Nuhu hasn't stolen the headlines from? I don't care what star ratings say. I don't care what the German manager says or the Ghanaian. He could play for Germany, Ghana or England, because he's been in England so long now. But Germany and Ghana all the way through he's qualified for playing for. He's never played a game of international football. It's one of the great mysteries of Football Manager, how Nuhu has not... It's not even that he's not been to a World Cup. He's never played a game of international football. He's never even played a friendly against Luxembourg. It's a total travesty. And I'm tempted to take over as Germany manager just to cap him, because he deserves it. If there is a big game going on, Nuhu will grab it by the scruff of the neck and win it for you. He has done it time and time and time again. And once again, Nuhu has won us the FA Cup today. Yet Germany and Ghana both ignore him completely. I don't ignore him. I think he's a wonderful man. And there's the ticker tape once again. See, I've got my suit on there. So Virtual Kev's got a suit. Where's my suit? The mystery continues, and we're just going to check that we haven't picked up any injuries going into this Champions League final. So let's have a look through all this. No, only a couple of days for Tate. Chapman enters England Hall of Fame. Let's have a little look at the Hall of Fame, see where we are. I'll try not to confuse myself with the other one from Non-League to Legend this time. So, nation, England. So someone said last time that I was on there. Yeah, so on that one, Arsenal and Bath, Kevin Chapman is just... I can't catch up with that version of me. What did he win to be all the way up there? Oh, he won the Champions League twice, did he? Oh, that's because I carried it on stream. On Twitch, that doesn't even count. But this version, I think that's a more impressive career. Look at that. What a wonderful career. A career that includes a National League North win, and then 20 years later, maybe a Champions League win. But we are in the Hall of Fame. Tate's got a slight knock, but we don't worry about that. Everyone else is fine. And it all comes down to tomorrow. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Apart from next week, when there probably won't be any, unless the FM19 beta comes out. And thank you very much for watching.